Hey readers, I just wanted to tell you about this a great book I read. It's Presence by Amy Cuddy. And I read it because it has some really interesting points about our posture and how it affects not only how we think and feel about ourselves, but also how others perceive us. Because like it or not, people are picking up subconscious cues from you and your postures, not just what you say, but how you are physically present. And so I really like this book. Let me first read the back cover to you. Again, this is Presence by Amy Cuddy. Let's say the back says, "Too often we approach life's biggest hurdles with dread and leave them with regret. But by learning to access our personal power, we can achieve presence, the state in which we stop worrying about the impression we're making on others and start being our best selves." As this revolutionary book reveals, harnessing the power of presence is as simple as learning to tweak our body language, behavior, and mindset in our day-to-day lives. Amy Cuddy galvanizes tens of millions of viewers around the world with her TED Talk about power poses. She did give a great TED Talk. I think there's more than one on YouTube. I'll see if I can link it for you. Now she shows us how to use simple techniques to liberate ourselves from fear in high-pressure moments and perform at our best. Brilliantly researched and impassioned, Presence will teach readers once and for all how to approach their biggest challenge with confidence. Okay, so if you're listening to me talk about this book, you heard me talk about your physical presence, but she does go into those who are disabled in some way, and can't achieve some of the poses physically, but you can also do it mentally. She talks a lot about, in the book, research that has been done in just imagining your pose. This book was so great. There was so much research in it, and one of the things I really liked about it is that at the beginning, she talks about her own trials. She had a traumatic injury to her head when she was very young, and probably why she went down this path of studying this stuff. So it was really cool. She made it very personable. There's a lot of stories sprinkled throughout, which make the studies that they present, because they present a lot of studies over and over again. So it prevents it from getting monotonous, in my opinion. But I really liked it because it has a lot of very practical things you can take away with you. So basically what they did essentially was study the difference between having very good expansive poses. Think, Wonder Woman, right? Very heart open, you're standing upright, or think of soldiers at attention. Think of hooray, I won, we won, versus your hunched eye pose when you're sitting like at your desk and all this stuff. Because that has, whether you like it or not, let's say maybe you're just tired and you're slouching or you're looking at your phone, as we all are these days, it still has an effect on you mentally and how you think and feel about yourself. So it's really important, just like Grandma told you, is to have good posture, right? Grandmas are so full of good advice. Also, like, live within your means, wash your hands, like so many good grandma things that they talk about. Anyway, so that's some of the reasons I like the book. The takeaways are great, especially there was a lot of studies done on jobs, interview situations, and who's most likely to get hired and why, and it had to do with the presence people had. Let's say if they did a power pose before going in, she makes the point you don't want to like suddenly shift your pose while you're talking to people, because then that could backfire. Like, let's say you're kind of like hunched and like all of a sudden you spring up and you're like, I'm like Wonder Woman, I have power. You don't want to do that. And that you could do these things in private, like in the bathroom, you can do your posing, but it will help to shift your mindset, how you feel about yourself. It will shift your energy, your subconscious presence to others, and how other people perceive you. So those are really good takeaways. And also talks about, who's most likely to get hired. Also, even, I couldn't find it. I was trying to highlight it so I could read it to you, but there's a point in the book where people who sort of have like higher desks, I have like a standing sitting desk at my work. I've always like sort of an architect height chair and desk situation myself. I really hate sitting in a normal height chair. It just doesn't feel good to me. But there was something in the book about how those people tend to get promoted or given more responsibilities and so forth, just because of the presence they have, even in the way they are sitting at their desks and so forth. So I really like that. In the front cover of the book, there's a great section where it talks about the 10 principles of presence. And I'll read you a couple of these. It says, so presence is about approaching our biggest challenges without dread, executing them without anxiety, and leaving them without regret. So yeah, having good presence within yourself is going to help to alleviate fear and anxiety and some of the dread we can foster within us. Basically, it just really helps get you into a positive state of being, essentially. And what's my other favorite quote here is, when we're present, we convey conviction, passion, and confidence without arrogance. So we're not talking about being arrogant or being powerful over other. We're talking about power as in being your best self and living your best life, right? So, and also, what was my last quote here? This is my favorite here, number 8. She says, our bodies shape our minds shape our behavior, and our behavior shapes our outcomes. So true, isn't it? I recommend this book. I don't want to give the whole thing away, but it's just, I mean, I highlighted a whole bunch of stuff. This is one I definitely want to read again. Those are the things I loved about this book. So if you're looking for something to read, I encourage you to pick this one up, and I will link it for you in the notes. All right. See you next time. Bye.